Hi guys, I'm Eileen. Today I want to talk about the money lessons I've learned in the last 10 years or so. I'm in my 30s and I definitely have a very different money mindset compared to when I first started making my own money. The younger me was more focused on accumulating nice things and shiny objects. To be fair, I never got myself into that and I was responsible with paying my bills and other financial commitments. But part of me was always quite confused about my priorities. I was the girl who would buy a Chanel handbag completely on impulse, and I was ignorant about how my spending would impact my future. I'm not sure if it's just me, but I feel like money is not a very common topic within the luxury community. I'm not sure if that's because there's a general perception that if you can afford nice things, you must be doing quite well in life. Therefore, you don't have to worry about money management. Unfortunately though, that is often not the case. If anything, it's even more important to have a better understanding about money if you have a soft spot for beautiful things. Over the years, I've made a lot of expensive mistakes, but luckily I've picked up some very important lessons and I can't wait to share them with you. The first money lesson I've learned is never judge a book by its cover. The older I get, the more I realize physical possessions don't reflect someone's financial status. They merely represent their spending habits and priorities. I think Mr. Warren Buffett is a prime example. Being one of the wealthiest men on the planet, he is still driving his 7-year-old Cadillac and living in the 3-bedroom house he bought many years ago. In fact, I've come across a lot of very successful people who are really humble and they also dress super low-key. Unfortunately though, we now live in a very consumerist world and we often get judged based on the very visual and tangible things such as the car we drive, the dress we wear, or the handbag we carry. And just to share a very personal experience with you guys, a while ago I went to a car dealership with a friend who at that point was driving the BMW i8, and the service we received was way more welcoming than the time I dropped by driving my 9-year-old Mini. To be honest, I no longer get offended if I don't receive a lot of attention from the sales associates because I think they come across so many people every day, so it makes sense if they want to focus their energy on certain clientele. And to be completely honest, I myself used to think I had to dress in a certain way to prove that I was doing well in life. It was really a form of insecurity which I was trying to cover up with expensive badges. And when I let that go, I no longer feel the need to keep up with the Joneses. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy luxury items, but I now own them with a very different mindset. I don't purchase anything with the intention to maintain a certain profile or impress anyone. Similarly, I now don't admire anyone just because of their physical possessions. In fact, I love reading about the most successful people, but instead of focusing on their shiny objects, I now try to focus on their hard work, consistency, and leadership that make them who they are today. Another money lesson I've learned in the last 10 years is the importance of learning about money. If you've been watching my videos, you know I talk a lot about my failed luxury purchases and my shopping mistakes. Now, some of you might say we all live and learn, but the truth is, if I did take some time to learn about money and personal finance, I would have avoided a lot of the very expensive shopping mistakes. For example, when I first graduated 11 years ago, I had very little understanding about money, taxes, and investing. I didn't get myself into that, but I didn't set my priorities right either. So after paying my bills, I would spend a good portion of my income on shopping, when really I should have been saving up for my future and investing. A few years later, I started reading books about personal finance and money management, and it completely changed my perspectives and I became very intentional with my spending. This is why I think it's so important for us to keep learning because we just don't know what we don't know. I feel really grateful to be able to learn so much on Skillshare, and I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is an online learning platform with thousands of inspiring classes where you can learn about pretty much everything, such as personal finance, running a business, minimalism, cooking, DIY, and so much more. If you want to learn more about how to manage your money, I highly recommend a class by Justin Bridge, and it's called Modern Money Habits. This is a fantastic class. Justin covered so many aspects of personal finance, including budgeting, emergency fund, and investing for the future. There is so much valuable information in this one class, and I can't recommend it enough. If you want to try out Skillshare, I have a link down below for you guys, and the first 1,000 people to click on the link will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium for 1 month. I think you'll really enjoy learning on this amazing platform. Another money lesson I've learned is no matter how good an income you're making, if you spend most of it on designer shoes, nice cars, Chanel handbags, or whatever it might be, you are basically still living paycheck to paycheck. So it doesn't matter if you are a super high earner or someone making an average wage. If you spend everything you make, you basically have no option but to go back to work just to sustain your lifestyle. In other words, it's really important to live below our means. When you don't push your spending to the limit every month, you have more options and leverage. For example, some people might take out the biggest mortgage, or they might finance the nicest furniture or gadgets. Now, technically, they can afford it because their paychecks do cover all these expenses. But that also means they now heavily rely on their day job just to keep going. Whereas if you learn to live on less, you are allowing yourself choices. So let's say instead of spending everything you make, you're now saving 25% of your income. That really means for every 3 months you work, you can have 1 month off. What more, if you ever want to go for a lower paying job that gives you more fulfillment, you will still be able to maintain your standard of living. To be honest, if you are watching this video, you are probably making quite a healthy income anyway, so improving your financial position might be quite actionable for you. It might just mean giving up on buying yet another Chanel handbag or selling those luxury items that no longer serve you. With a bit of intentionality, I think you'll see quite a difference in your life. The fourth lesson is credit cards are not evil. They do come with very high interest rates. In fact, some of them are as high as 20%. But if you make your payment in full every month, there are so many benefits of using a credit card. First of all, using a credit card is a lot safer than using a debit card because essentially the bank is paying for you first. So you're not liable for things like fraud or unauthorized transactions. So let's say if you lose your credit card today and someone goes on a shopping spree with it, all you have to do is call the bank and cancel the card. Whereas if the same thing happens to your debit card, the money would have left your bank account right away, and it's a lot harder to retrieve it. Secondly, a lot of credit cards also come with some really good offers, such as air miles, cashback, and discounts. We love going to Legoland, and we get a massive discount just because of the credit card we use. On top of that, we also get 0.5% cashback, which might not sound like a lot of money, but it is essentially free money. Last but not least, using a credit card and making your payment on time will give you a good credit score, which will be really helpful if you want to buy a house, a car, or get a job. I think sometimes credit cards do get a very bad reputation, but the way I see it, it is up to us to either see them as a reason to spend beyond our means or use them to our good advantage. The next money lesson is the importance of tracking my expenses. Doing this will give you a very clear snapshot of your spending patterns, and it will also highlight the areas you've been splurging a bit too much on. The thing is, we all underestimate how much we spend. In fact, I still get really surprised at how all the small little things add up to quite a significant amount. Anyway, about 4 years ago, I decided to make a spreadsheet for all my shopping expenses. So I listed all the luxury items and the fast fashion pieces I bought that year, and the total was quite shocking. Honestly, I had no idea I was spending so much on shopping, but it was a good wake-up call and I knew I had to stop shopping so mindlessly. We now mainly use the same credit card for everything, including prescriptions, takeaways, shopping, and groceries. That way, it's so much easier to track all our expenses. When you have an estimate of your monthly expenses, it's also so much easier to plan for things like emergency fund and other financial commitments. So those are the money lessons I've learned in the last 10 years. And just to recap, number 1 is to never judge a book by its cover. Number 2 is the importance of learning about money. Number 3 is to always live below our means. And number 5 is to always track our spending. I really hope you'll find this video helpful because I think personal finance is such an important area in our lives and we should always take good control of it. If you have any other money tips, please share them down below. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching and don't forget to share, like and subscribe. I will see you in my next one. Have a nice day.